Hi guys, welcome back to Irish Footy Vlogs. Welcome back to another Rate the Transfer Rumour show. And we have the man himself, Sean, back today for this particular one. Sean, how are you?
Going well, Keith. All systems go ahead of return to the RSC on Friday for Munster Senior Cup. So
Oh,
we'll
lovely.
see what transfers have panned out, what transfers haven't. We'll be able to
Lo-
make very early judgments.
Lovely. Now, I don't think I'd be able to make a fool of you today like I made a fool of Daz, would I?
Mm. You have to get up very early in the morning, yeah, for that to happen.
Would I have got you there at Roger Daltrey?
No.
No, I don't think so. I knew I'd get him though. I knew I'd get him. I knew I'd get him. Sorry about that, Daz. Sorry about that. And any time I mention any player now, Daz is going to be thinking,
Yeah.
oh, good man. He's great for a laugh, Daz. Anyway, getting on with the show. And yeah, Rate the Transfer Rumor show is the show that rates the transfers between 1 and 10. Sean's going to give us a rating between 1 and 10 on each individual transfer. 1 means it's highly likely it's not going to happen. 10 means it's highly likely it will happen. You think it was a 10 out of 10 that happened before with Connor Keeley, by the way, drotted the Pats.
Mm.
Pats the drotted, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so.
that was it. Mm. There was another one too. I can't remember what it
There
was. It
was
was a
another
Derry
one
City
for
one.
sure. Yeah, you're right. There was definitely another one. I can't remember.
Mm.
Maybe people in the comments might remember, but I don't
Mm.
know. Right, we'll get into the first one anyway. And Derry City obviously are in the market quite a lot recently. They brought in a lot of players. I think 3 players, maybe 4 players from Belfast. They're interested in another player from Belfast, perhaps. Danny Devine, Belfast man, 32 years of age, a centre back, Inverness Caledonian Thistle he plays for. He's made 100 appearances for them in the league. Obviously, Derry were kind of behind a lot of clubs, weren't they? And Tiernan Lynch came in late in terms of a lot of their other clubs, like say Pats, Shelburne, whoever.
Mm.
Clubs around them had made a lot of transfers, brought a lot of players into the league, from the league, I should say, really. But Derry, he seems to be going for players, Sean, in the first window anyway, that he say knows very well. And I suppose it's probably the best idea, isn't it, rather than going to
Mm.
Estonia and bringing in some player that was an agent suggested, But yeah, how you
Yeah.
seen that one? They do need a centre back, mind you, as well, don't they? In
Mm.
fairness.
Yeah, I'm just looking. I don't think Mark Connolly has re-signed with Derry this season, so there's a gap to be filled there, and it would certainly fit the profile of player they're signing. They've already signed Shane Ferguson, Gavin White. There's been another one as well that I can't think of off the top of my head, but yeah, it fits the kind of player
Ian
that
Boyce,
Tiernan
yeah,
Lynch.
yeah,
Liam Bice, that's it.
yeah.
Yeah, no, it fits the definitely fits the profile of player they're signing. It seems to be sort of some people thought they might rebuild a little after this season because this is going to be the first season in a while now. They already haven't had European football. Maybe people thought the profile of player they might be able to attract would be a little bit lower. But no, they seem to be going for that success now. They're going for experience. A lot of these players have played for Northern Ireland. So they'll have had experience at the top level, and that could translate very well to the League of Ireland. Especially, you've got a manager now in Tiernan Lynch who has won things. He's taken Larne to the Conference League, so pairing that, it seems to be all about experience. So I think Devine fits that profile. Yeah.
Yeah, just on Mark Connolly actually just been told by the good man JP, he actually triggered an
Mm.
extra year because of his appearances last season, which is interesting. So,
Okay.
interesting. So I know
So
what
he
you
is
mean.
back.
He is
Mm.
back, but it wouldn't have been
Yeah.
announced as such because of that particular
Mm.
reason. Why are you giving this one out of 10?
Well, it's the first time hearing of it, but there's form for it happening. So I think I'll give it kind of a 7 out of 10. I think.
7 out of 10. Danny
Mm.
Devine to Derry City. Next player is a player that was in the league before at Finn Harps, actually, playing for Sandviken in the Swedish second division at the moment. And that's Eric McWoods, forward who can play, generally plays on the wing, actually,
Mm.
but can play up front as well. American 29-year-old. Played well with Finn Harps when he was at them a couple of seasons ago,
Mm.
to be fair. Thought he performed quite well. But linked to a potential move to Galway United, who've brought in a smasher in the players from abroad recently. And of course, Ori Horgan is at Galway United and he managed them
Mm.
at Finn Harps. So, have you seen that one? A fairly kind of a powerful pacey player, isn't he?
Yeah, he fits the kind of profile that Galway want, big, powerful players. I remember that season. Finn Harps brought in a load of foreign players that season. There was a Croatian up front. I forget his name.
Oh, the
He
big guy.
scored.
Can't
He
remember his
scored all the
name.
goals for him.
Yeah,
Eric McWoods was kind of behind him. I think McWoods only had like 3 goals or something that season, but it was
yeah.
because this Croatian fellow scored all the goals for him. It does again, like with what I said about Devine for to Derry, this fits the profile of players that Galway like to sign, the powerful physical players. Because I think if you look at it from a perspective that he's in the Swedish second division and he played for a Finn Harps team that got relegated, and he didn't. If you took him out of the squad, I think they still would have been in the same position. So, but I would have said the same thing about Patrick Hickey, who's been a real revelation, or Rob Slevin even, who they've
Mm.
got a lot out of. So I think yeah, that there's a lot to say that this could happen, and yeah, I think this is a likely one as well.
What are you gonna give this one?
Give it a bit better because I've heard about this one for a couple of weeks, and other rumors that we've heard coming from the Galway United camp have turned out to be true as well. So I'm going to give this one an 8.
Ooh, 8 out of 10, Eric McWoods to Galway United. Next up, now this has been circulating, to be fair, on social media, but I thought I'd throw it in anyway. But that's Richie Towell with a move to Dundalk. And this one's interesting for me, I think, because, you know, there doesn't seem to be a Premier Division club interested in Richie Towell, which a lot of people might consider to be strange. But I did a video a while back actually kind of on this, and I kind of gave reasons why I thought this club and that club wouldn't be in for him. And I'm not going to go through them again, but
Mm.
Dundalk, obviously a club he was at before and had a lot of success at too. I think I may have mentioned this. I'm not sure if I mentioned that video, but I mentioned it before that the potential was that Dundalk were interested in him actually and could offer him a role as a coach going forward as well, and that might be the thing that kind of gets him in there. But I know a lot of people have been saying how could Dundalk afford him, but I don't think Richie Tell's in a position to be he hasn't got many bargaining chips and negotiations here because if there's not too many clubs interested, he can't exactly command a big wage anyway. So I would suggest if he's going, he's not going to be going on a big as wage as people might suspect. What's your thoughts overall on that one?
It looks a bit more likely than it did earlier on in the transfer window.
Mm.
But yeah, again, it's a very strange one because in terms of talent, he's clearly good enough for the first division. I think if Dundalk get Richie Towell, you'd make him clear favourites. At the moment, it's not so clear.
Mm.
But yeah, there's questions about his commitment and his attitude that are probably the reason why he's not at Shamrock Rovers still. And what are Dundalk gonna have to pay to get him in the squad?
Mm.
There's now been rumors that okay, he's going to take a reduced wage basically
Mm.
to go
I
to
don't think
Dundalk.
he'd have a choice, Sean, because if there's no
Mm.
one really shown massive interest, then he kind of has to be taking what he's offered or not play football at all, I guess.
Yeah, that's the situation that he's in right now. I still have a lot of questions about this. I think there's a lot of Dundalk fans would be happy with this, but it would be mainly from I think the perspective of they're thinking of the Richie Towell that scored like 26 goals in a season
Mm.
versus Richie Towell of now, who's a bit over the hill, I think.
Mm. Well, you
And
still suspect that he should be able to do a decent
yeah,
job in the first division, you would think. He should be.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if he plays even half as well as he's capable of playing, he'll be like the best midfielder in the first division. But that's not guaranteed to happen, I don't think. So there's a lot of question marks. I'm not sure if this. I can very easily see this happening, but I kind of I'd have my fist in my mouth, kind of biting on my knuckles if this transfer did go through. Because what if it goes through then and it doesn't work out? You're really in trouble.
Yeah, it has to work out for him. Why are you giving this out of 10?
I'm gonna go back to 7 because if it was like how much I like this move, it
Mm.
wouldn't even be 5, I don't think. But as much as I like this to happen, you can see, even from a business perspective, like Dundalk are going to generate considerable hype and considerable media discussion if they do get this transfer over the line.
Yeah, true. So 7 out of 10 is it? Yeah, I think you said yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
going to stick with 7. Yeah.
7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. Richie Towell back to Dundalk. Now the last two were Shamrock Rovers are related. Pat Hooban, Derry City, the Shamrock Rovers. Now Pat seemingly, a surplus of requirements. That seems to be the talk coming out of Derry that maybe doesn't suit the way Lynch wants to play. They've obviously signed Liam Boyce, as kind of mentioned previously in that too. He was top scorer now in the league, joint top scorer, I should say, in
Mm.
the league last season as well. So, like, Pat still knows where the net is, but it's an interesting one. Still under contract. He'd be on a very good contract at Derry City. If he was to leave and say join Shamrock Rovers or any club for that matter, I would have thought that Pat would have to have his wages, if not matched, certainly very close to what he's getting at Derry City. He's not obliged to leave Derry City, in my opinion. He was given a contract. Pat would still feel, I feel, that he'd be the best striker at the club if he was, if they wanted to keep him. But the fact he's under contract, Shamrock Rovers, but if he's surplus requirements, they couldn't really command any kind of a big fee for him. Shamrock Rovers are in the market for a striker, like a leading striker, aren't they? And the thing about Hooban is, and the Shamrock Rovers thing, in my opinion, is that Rovers do get a lot of crosses into the box, be it from headers or just being in around the box. There, that's his bread and butter for me. And even though he's joint top scorer last year in the league with Derry, Derry often had the handbrake on last year, so potentially this could be a massive move if Shamrock Rovers were to actually sign him. What's your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I think this move makes a lot of sense. There was rumors that Pat Hooban was going to leave earlier on, and then when Tiernan Lynch came in, initially it looked like he was going to stay on. So now that the move is back on, it's a bit more likely. I
Surely,
think the other
Sean,
thing
sorry
as
for
well.
jumping in, Sean, but
Yeah.
surely, Sean, Shamrock Rovers are the only other club that'd be willing to pretty much match the wages on at Derry
Mm.
in and around, I would suggest, would you?
Yeah, and to buy him out of his contract as well from Derry, with the European money, they're going to have the financial muscle to do that. The other thing as well is they're going to have to replace Johnny Kenny very quickly ahead of their game against Molde
Mm.
coming up later this month. So that's another important thing to consider. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I look from Derry's perspective. You definitely wouldn't have said for all the problems Derry had last season. Pat Hooban certainly wasn't one of them because, as you said, joint top scorer in the league. He
Mm.
certainly did his bit for the team. Obviously, he's just not part of the plans, and well, if that's the case, then Lynch definitely has like very concrete plans for what he wants. Because there's a lot of risk involved with say like throwing out all your best players immediately.
Mm.
It can work. It's a hard reset. It can work, but yeah, I don't know about it from a Derry perspective. But given that there were rumors that he was already thinking about leaving, and the fact that Rovers have a gaping hole in the striker position that Johnny Kenny has left, and that they have the money to pull off this move, I'd say it's very very likely that this will happen.
Interesting. What are you giving this one out of 10?
I'm gonna give it a 9. I think,
Ooh, a 9 out of
which is
10.
unprecedented, really. I mean, it shows how far the League of Ireland has come that a player under contract is this likely to move to another League of Ireland team.
Oh, it's brilliant, actually, in many ways. Like, you
Mm,
know what I mean? Yeah, Hooban to Shamrock Rovers, 9 out of 10. Now, this is interesting because this is another striker um, linked with a move to Shamrock Rovers. And the point, I'll mention his name in a minute, but they're not going to sign these two. But the point is they're looking at a big striker to bring in. I think they're going to bring in a big striker. The question is who? Will it be one of these two? But this one, Bowes fans wouldn't be impressed with Jonathan Afalabi. Um,
mm,
yeah, the Shamrock Rovers on loan with Cumber in Holland, where he's made 7 appearances, got 1 goal.
mm,
He obviously plays contract to a club in Belgium that I can't
mm.
pronounce, Korchik or something like that. I don't know. he signed for them anyway from Bowes.
Kortrijk.
Right, well done.
Yeah,
Get you on to do all that kind of stuff because
yeah.
I can't. Uh, he obviously signed for that. He hasn't done that great, has he, since he's left? Really, he's only got a couple of goals with
No, yeah.
the clubs. Like to be honest with you, and
Mm,
but another player that if he came back to the League of Ireland and Shamrock Rovers, you could possibly see excel there, and
mm,
different type of player you could argue to Hooban, but just shows the type of striker they're looking for. A big striker to come in, someone that's maybe done it in the league and score goals in the league,
yeah.
i.e. Hooban, i.e. like Afalabi.
Mm.
How do you see this one, especially in comparison to the Hooban one?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's a tough one. Certainly. I don't know. It could happen. I mean, again, if the will is there to happen,
Mm,
it could. Kortrijk aren't obviously very attached to Afalabi if they're leaving him go out alone to Cambuur
mm.
in the Netherlands and whatever. Um,
Now, I don't know if it'd be an awkward deal to do because of the loan. I don't know what the terms of the loan
mm,
agreement either. Like, is there an
yeah,
option that he can come back from that loan or not? You know?
there might be. This is all speculation now, but there might be an attempt to move away from these loan deals. Rovers have, like even last season, like they maxed out their allocation of loan signings. A lot of key pieces in the squad, Marcus Poom, Johnny Kenny, were only there on loan.
Mm.
Um,
I reckon if they brought him in, they'd be signing him personally. I would think,
mm,
especially with the financial muscle that you mentioned before as well. I
mm.
think they're going to try and avoid as much as they can any loan deals.
Yeah, I think it all depends if the Pat Hooven deal works out.
Yeah.
That would be the first choice. If they can get him in, then this deal won't happen.
Yeah.
If they don't, then this deal will happen.
Mm.
Uh, but Judge, based on what I've given, the Pat Hooven deals to work out, I can't rate this as very likely because I do think that deal is going to go through. So I have to give it makes a lot of sense. In a vacuum, this deal would be like say
Mm.
an 8 out of 10 even.
Also, the
But
fact,
because
Sean, that they signed, as we're doing this video, they did sign Matt Healy in a 3-year deal today.
yeah,
Big signing, in my
mm,
opinion, as well. That's a massive sign to get from a
it's
Belgian
it's a huge
team.
signing.
That's a
It's a huge
massive sign.
signing, and you could tell. I mean, he was a big difference maker for Cork when
Mm.
he was there 2
And I
seasons
reckon he's a
ago
better
now.
player now, probably.
Yeah, he's come on a lot, but even when he was there in that Cork team, the potential was obvious.
Mm.
So, um, really good signing that one was. But to go back to Afolabi, I think with the Pat Hoover deal in mind, I have to give this one like I think a 4 out of 10, maybe just
4 out of
because
10.
that deal is more
Yeah.
likely to go through.
Yeah. They're definitely not going to sign the two of them, though. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, 4 out of 10 Afalabi, Shamrock Rovers. Brilliant stuff, Sean. That was excellent. Guys at home, let us know what you think. It was a rating between 1 and 10. No Roger Daltrey in this show, anyway, or anything such like. I don't think there was anyway. There was nothing there that could have caught you out anyway, Sean, wasn't there? Not?
No, not
Oh,
cashing me
brilliant.
out.
Anyway, guys, thanks for watching and please subscribe. Thanks, Sean.